Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition Series, where I preview and predict every men's college basketball conference tournament. This is the 18th of 31 shows, and now up is the Big Sky Tournament, which begins Wednesday, March 10th, the quarterfinals Thursday, March 11th, semifinals Friday, March 12th, and the championship game Saturday, March 13th. So, without further ado, here we go. At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time, 9-seeded Sacramento State against 8-seeded Northern Colorado. Sacramento State 8-11 on the year, 5-9 in conference play. Northern Colorado 10-10 on the year, 6-8 in conference play. My projections: Northern Colorado by 4, total 138. Therefore, I have Northern Colorado advancing to the quarterfinals. The second of three first-round games on Wednesday, March 10th. This one at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 12 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. 10-seeded Northern Arizona against 7-seeded Portland State. Northern Arizona on the season, 5-15 overall, 4-10 in conference play. And Portland State 9-12 overall, 6-8 in conference play. My projection is Portland State by 4, total 135.5. Therefore, I have Portland State into the quarterfinal. And the last of three first-round games, Wednesday, March 10th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time. 11-seeded Idaho against 6-seeded Montana. Idaho 1-20 overall, 1-17 in conference play. Montana 13-12 overall, 7-9 in conference play. My projections: Montana by a whopping 18.5, total 137. Therefore, Montana to the quarterfinals. All right, the quarterfinals, Thursday, March 11th. 2 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. 8-seeded Northern Colorado against 1-seeded Southern Utah. Southern Utah on the season, 19-3 overall, 12-2 in conference play. My projection is Southern Utah by 6. I don't have a total because, as I say each and every show of the series, it's harder to project future totals rather than future lines. So Southern Utah by 6, therefore I have Southern Utah into the semifinals. The second of four quarterfinal games in the Big Sky Tournament, Thursday, March 11th, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5-seeded Montana State against 4-seeded Idaho State. Montana State, 11-9 overall, 8-6 in conference play. Idaho State, 13-10 overall, 8-6 in conference play. My projection is Montana State by 3.5, total 135. Therefore, I have the upside with Montana State going to the semifinal. The third of four quarterfinal games in the Big Sky Tournament, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You got 7-seeded Portland State against 2-seeded Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington on the year, 13-7 overall, 12-3 in conference play. My projection is Eastern Washington by a whopping 13.5. Therefore, I have Eastern Washington to the semifinals. In the last of four quarterfinal games in the Big Sky Tournament, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 8 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. You got 6-seeded Montana against 3-seeded Weber State. My projection is Weber State by 9.5. And by the way, Weber State on the season, 17-5 overall, 12-3 in conference play. Eastern Washington, if I didn't mention, 13-7 overall, 12-3 in conference play. So I have Weber by 9.5. Therefore, I have Weber into the semifinals. So the two semifinal matchups, Friday, March 12th. First one will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time between 5-seeded Montana State against 1-seeded Southern Utah. My line is Southern Utah by 7.5. Therefore, I have Southern Utah into the title game. And the other one, 3-seeded Weber State against 2-seeded Eastern Washington. My line is Eastern Washington by 4. Therefore, Eastern Washington into the championship. So a solid championship matchup between who I feel was the best two teams in the Big Sky Conference this year. 2-seeded Eastern Washington against 1-seeded Southern Utah. Eastern Washington, very solid team, led by Tanner Groves. And on the other side with Southern Utah, who's been amazing this season, led by Tevion Jones, John Knight III, Mazian Fawcett, and Dre Maureen. Southern Utah is pretty deep, but Eastern Washington I do have projected as the favorite here at +0.5. And they are actually pretty deep too with Kim Aiken Jr. I already talked about Groves, Tyler Robertson, Jacob Davison, and Michael Meadows. So Eastern Washington I projected as a half-point favorite. Therefore, to represent the Big Sky tournament, or the Big Sky Conference in the 2021 NCAA tournament, Eastern Washington. So there you have it for the Big Sky Conference tournament predictions and preview podcast. Next up is the Mountain West Conference, which should be fun.